All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Hey, everyone.
Today, we're looking at AI governance, a topic that's becoming more and more crucial, not just globally, but for India's place in the world.
And what better time to dive in than right before the AI for Humanity Summit kicking off in Paris this weekend? It's huge, and our Prime Minister Modi is co-chairing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, having our PM leading in a field that's reshaping the future, well, that says something.
Definitely something to keep in mind for those prelims. Right?
For sure. And it's not just a symbolic thing either. The summit is a real turning point.
Yeah.
We're moving past those, AI taking over the world's fears and getting down to concrete actions, commitments, the real deal.
Yeah, it's about how we actually use AI in public services, what it means for jobs going forward, how we encourage innovation but responsibly, build trust in these systems, and of course the big one, global governance of AI.
So much to unpack there. And it's incredible how all these themes link right back to so many parts of the UPSC syllabus.
Oh, absolutely. Ethics, technology, international relations, economic policy. It's a goldmine for anyone prepping for those exams.
Okay, so let's get into some of the key things to watch out for at this summit. One of the big announcements we're expecting is the creation of a foundation all about AI in the public interest, specifically geared towards the needs of the Global South.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, why should our listeners be paying attention to this?
Well, for a long time, the conversation around AI has been dominated by, big tech, mostly American companies.
Right.
This foundation could really change that, giving developing nations a voice, a real say in how AI is developed and used.
It's about more than just inheriting technology built elsewhere.
Exactly. Countries like India can shape AI to actually solve our own unique problems. Think healthcare, agriculture, education. The possibilities are huge.
And that brings us to something that's really shaking things up, and it's coming out of China. DeepSeek, this AI model, it's making waves.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Can you break down why it's so groundbreaking?
Imagine building an AI as powerful as the ones made by giants, like OpenAI, but without needing their massive resources. That's DeepSeek, and for a country like India, it's a wake-up call.
Especially since we've been wrestling with whether to invest in building our own foundational AI models.
Right. DeepSeek shows it's possible. That's a huge takeaway for anyone thinking about India's future in tech and its place in the global AI race.
This is where things get really interesting for our UPSC folks, because this isn't just about technology. It has implications for international relations and economic policy.
Oh, for sure. If India can develop its own powerful AI, it changes the whole game.
And we're already seeing signs that India isn't just sitting this one out. The government's making some big moves to boost its AI capabilities.
They are.
For example.
Well, look at the huge procurement of over 18,000 GPUs. Those are like the specialized chips, the engines that power AI development.
The backbone of it all.
Yeah, and the fact that the government's investing so heavily in them, well, it shows a real commitment to building up India's own AI infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
Right? There's also that call for proposals to build LLMs, those large language models.
Right. Those are the brains behind things like chatbots, tools that generate text, even code.
So it's a clear signal that India wants to be more than just a consumer of AI. We want to be creators, innovators.
A two-pronged approach, building the infrastructure with the GPUs and nurturing that homegrown AI ecosystem with the LLMs. It's fascinating, and it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Absolutely fascinating. Before we jump into the global side of all this, I just want to remind our listeners to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave your thoughts and questions in the comments. We love hearing from you. Now back to India's AI strategy. How does it compare to what other countries are doing? What's unique about our approach?
That's a great question. And to answer it, we need to understand the landscape of AI regulation globally, because there are some real concerns around AI.
Yeah, privacy, bias, all this.
Exactly. We need to make sure it's developed and used responsibly. And this is where things get really interesting. Different countries are taking such different approaches to regulating AI.
You've got the EU with its very strict rules and focus on data privacy. Then there's the UK taking a more hands-off, let innovation flourish approach.
And then you've got the U.S. somewhere in the middle, constantly evolving its approach. And of course, China has its own unique model, which is definitely worth unpacking. But the big question is, where does India fit in?
Welcome back to our deep dive on AI governance.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how India's approach to AI isn't just about the tech itself.
Yeah.
It's tied in with our values and our place on the world stage.
Exactly. And India's been very vocal about the need for AI that's ethical, trustworthy. We're not just looking at what it can do, but what it should do in a way that respects human rights, promotes inclusivity, genuinely benefits society.
So for our UPSC folks listening in, this is about way more than just tech.
Yeah. It's about ethics, governance, international relations, all those key themes they'll be tested on.
For sure.
But let's get specific. When we talk about trustworthy AI in the Indian context, what does that actually look like? What policies and actions are we taking?
Well, one of the big things is transparency. We need to know how these AI systems are making decisions.
Right. Can't just be a black box.
Exactly. It's not enough to get a result. We need to understand the why behind it.
Makes sense.
This is crucial for tackling things like bias, making sure AI is used fairly.
If we're going to trust these systems, we got to be able to, look under the hood.
Exactly. And alongside transparency, there's this huge emphasis on data privacy and security.
Right. India's been really leading the charge in discussions on data localization, digital sovereignty.
We want to make sure our data is protected, used responsibly, especially when it comes to how AI is developed.
This is huge, not just for India, but globally.
Yeah.
It raises all these questions about who controls the data, who benefits, and how we balance individual rights with what AI can potentially do.
And it all ties into India's goal of being a leader, not just a follower, in this whole AI revolution. We want to develop AI systems that are tailored to our own needs, our context.
Not just adopting what's been made elsewhere.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about India's internal approach, but how does this translate to our role in global AI governance? Where do we see ourselves fitting into that big picture?
I think India is in this unique position to be a bridge between the global north and south. We understand the challenges of developing countries, but we're also actively working with the big AI powers like the US and EU.
So we're kind of in the middle.
Yeah, and that puts us in a strong spot to advocate for an approach to AI governance that's more inclusive, more equitable, one that benefits everyone.
So we're not shying away from these global conversations.
Not at all. We're actively in there in the discussions on international standards and norms for AI, pushing for collaboration on research, development, capacity building. We want to make sure AI is used to tackle those big global challenges like climate change, poverty, healthcare disparities.
It sounds like a pretty ambitious agenda.
It is.
But I imagine it's not all smooth sailing trying to align the interests of so many different countries.
Oh, of course there are going to be disagreements, areas where we need to negotiate.
Like what?
Well, for example, the EU's very strict approach to data privacy, that might clash with India's drive to boost innovation in the AI sector. Navigating those differences is going to require some serious diplomatic skills and a real willingness to find common ground.
And then there's the whole geopolitical side of AI with the US and China kind of vying for dominance.
Right.
How does India navigate that?
It's a balancing act for sure. We have this history of non-alignment, but with AI, staying completely neutral might not be an option.
So we might have to pick a side.
We'll have to make strategic choices about our partnerships, weighing the benefits and risks carefully. Aligning too closely with one side or the other could have consequences.
So, for example, partnering with the US on AI research, we might get access to cutting-edge tech, but it could also make us more dependent on them.
Right.
And aligning with China's approach, well, that could raise concerns about data security ethics.
Exactly. It's a complex situation.
Definitely something our UPSC aspirants need to understand inside and out. Being able to analyze these different approaches to AI governance, the potential conflicts, what it means for India's foreign policy, it's all crucial.
Absolutely. And staying informed is key. Keep an eye on good sources like the Indian Express. Their article on AI governance is what got us talking today.
Yeah, great resource. Links in the episode description.
Now let's shift gears a bit. Focus on a specific area where India's stance on ethical AI could have a big impact.
Okay.
Facial recognition tech. It's already being used in India, but there are some serious concerns about privacy and surveillance.
It's a hot-button issue for sure.
It is. We've seen how facial recognition can be misused in India and globally. That's why this focus on ethical AI is so important. We need clear guidelines, safeguards to make sure this tech is used responsibly, proportionally, always respecting fundamental rights.
So what would that look like in practice? What kind of regulatory framework are we talking about?
Well, there are a lot of different opinions out there. Some say ban it completely, the risk of abuse is just too high.
Makes sense.
Others think we can find a middle ground, allow it in specific cases like law enforcement, but with really strict oversight accountability.
It's tough, balancing the potential benefits for security with the risks to individual freedom.
It is. It's a complex issue, no easy answers, and
Yeah.
it highlights the fact that AI governance is constantly evolving.
Yeah, the tech's moving so fast,
The ethical and societal implications are still unfolding.
so the conversation has to keep going.
It does.
We need to be constantly reassessing, adapting as new challenges pop up.
Absolutely, and that conversation needs to involve everyone.
Yeah.
Policymakers, experts, civil society, the public, we all have a stake in shaping the future of AI.
And that's where platforms like this come in, right?
Exactly.
Empowering our listeners with the knowledge and insights they need to be part of those crucial discussions.
Because at the end of the day, the future of AI isn't going to be decided by just governments and tech companies. It's a collective responsibility. It needs informed and engaged citizens.
Well said. And for our UPSC folks, this whole AI governance discussion is super relevant for your exams, especially GS Paper 3.
Oh, yeah.
Think about the sections on science and technology, internal security, even ethics. They're all connected.
You're right. Understanding the nuances of AI governance, how it impacts India's foreign policy, the ethical dilemmas, it's all essential for anyone who wants to serve in the Indian civil services.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious, what do you think lies ahead for India in the global AI landscape? What are the key trends and challenges you see coming up?
That's a good question. One trend that's becoming clear is the shift towards a more multipolar world of AI. The US and China are the big players now, but other countries, including India, are catching up fast.
So the competition's heating up.
It is, but that also opens up new opportunities for collaboration, knowledge sharing. It's not just about competing, it's about finding ways to work together, learn from each other.
So what about challenges?
One big one I see is bridging the digital divide within India. We need to make sure the benefits of AI reach everyone, not just a privileged few.
Right, it's about bringing everyone along.
Yeah, and this goes back to that summit's focus on AI for the Global South, using this tech to tackle poverty, healthcare, education.
It's a reminder that AI isn't just about cool technology, it's about social progress.
Exactly, making sure that everyone benefits.
And that brings us back to the importance of India's role in shaping a more inclusive and equitable future for AI.
For sure.
We have this potential to be a global leader in ethical, responsible AI development.
A leader that prioritizes human well-being, societal progress.
Absolutely, and that's a message that goes way beyond just the UPSC exam. It's a call to action for all of us to really engage with this technology in a thoughtful, responsible way, thinking about the impact it has on ourselves, our communities, the whole world.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our deep dive,
We have.
but there's still more to explore. In our final part, we'll shift focus from the global stage down to the ground level, seeing how AI is actually being used in India across different sectors. We'll look at the benefits, the challenges, what it means for the future of work and society as a whole.
Should be interesting.
So stick around for that. We'll be back after a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back to the deep dive. In this final part, we're getting hyper-local, bringing the AI conversation right here to India, seeing how it's all playing out on the ground.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see how AI is being applied in India, from government projects to private sector innovations.
Let's start with the public sector.
Okay.
We know the government is really pushing the use of AI for good governance.
Absolutely, yeah. We're seeing AI being used to create these, more responsive and efficient services for citizens. Think of those AI-powered chatbots, the ones that can answer your questions about government programs or help you navigate those, bureaucratic processes, all available 24/7.
So it's like having a virtual assistant for all your government stuff. That's pretty cool.
It is, and it goes beyond just basic services. AI is being used in things like disaster management, using predictive analytics to anticipate and respond to events like floods or earthquakes. It can really help, save lives and reduce damage.
Now, you mentioned facial recognition earlier, which is being used by law enforcement here in India. But we also talked about those ethical concerns around the technology.
Right, and that's a key point. While facial recognition can be a powerful tool for security, we need to make absolutely sure that it's used responsibly, that it doesn't violate people's privacy or lead to any kind of unfair targeting. How India ends up regulating this tech is going to be watched very closely, both here and internationally.
Okay, so what about healthcare? I've heard a lot about the potential of AI in that area.
Healthcare is definitely ripe for disruption by AI, and we're already seeing some pretty amazing applications. AI algorithms can analyze medical images, things like X-rays and MRIs, to help doctors make quicker and more accurate diagnoses.
That could be huge, especially in those rural areas where access to specialists is limited.
Exactly. AI can also help predict disease outbreaks, by analyzing patterns in public health data.
So being proactive rather than reactive.
Right. And that lets authorities, take steps to contain the spread and allocate resources better. We're even seeing AI being used to discover new drugs,
Hmm.
helping researchers find those promising new treatments much faster than traditional methods.
So AI isn't just improving healthcare, it's potentially revolutionizing the entire field.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And it's not just healthcare either. Education is another sector being transformed.
Yeah, what about those personalized learning platforms? The ones that use AI to tailor the experience to each student, their individual needs and learning style.
Those are becoming increasingly popular. These platforms can track how a student is doing, pinpoint where they're struggling, and recommend specific resources or exercises to help them improve. It's almost like having your own personalized tutor available all the time.
But does that replace the role of teachers altogether?
That's the big question a lot of folks are asking. AI can definitely help teachers out, taking care of tasks like grading and administrative stuff, giving them more time for one-on-one teaching and mentoring.
So freeing them up to focus on the human element.
Right, but it's unlikely to fully replace human educators, at least not anytime soon.
It's more about humans and AI working together.
Exactly, using the strengths of both to create a better, more engaging experience for students.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the private sector for a bit.
Yeah.
Industries like finance, retail, and manufacturing, they've been pretty quick to adopt AI, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. Finance is using AI for everything from spotting fraud to assessing risk and doing algorithmic trading. Retail is using it for those personalized recommendations you see, optimizing supply chains, even handling customer service through chatbots. And in manufacturing, AI is helping automate tasks, improve quality control, and even predict when machines need maintenance.
Sounds like AI is becoming part of the fabric of how businesses run these days.
It really is.
But what about that concern of jobs disappearing, as AI automates certain things?
That's a valid concern, and it's something we need to address head on. AI will definitely create new jobs, but some existing jobs will be displaced. It's crucial that we focus on upskilling and reskilling the workforce.
Giving people the tools they need.
Exactly, equipping people with the skills they'll need to thrive in an AI-driven economy.
So it's all about adapting, preparing for the jobs of the future.
It is, and it's not just on individuals either. This is a collective effort, involves businesses, educational institutions, the government. We need to build this whole ecosystem that supports lifelong learning and make sure everyone has the chance to be part of the AI revolution.
That's an important point. It really shows that AI isn't just a tech issue. It's a societal one with big implications.
Absolutely. As we embrace AI, we have to be mindful of its impact on jobs, on privacy, on the way our society functions. AI needs to be developed and used ethically in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into AI governance, what are the key takeaways for our listeners, especially those UPSC aspirants out there?
Well, first off, understand that AI is this multifaceted issue. It has the potential to totally reshape our world, and it's relevant across so many areas of the UPSC syllabus, from science and tech to ethics and international relations.
It's woven into everything.
It really is.
Second, pay close attention to how India's policies on AI governance are evolving.
Right. How are we striking that balance between encouraging innovation and making sure things are safe, trustworthy, and ethical? That's going to be crucial to watch.
And finally, don't just think about AI as some dry technical subject.
Right. Think about its impact on society, on jobs, privacy, the way we live our lives.
Think big picture.
Exactly. Think critically about the future you want to see and how AI can help create a world that's more just, equitable, and prosperous for everyone.
That's a powerful way to put it. AI isn't just some trendy buzzword. It's a force that's shaping our present and our future.
It really is.
It's up to all of us to engage with it thoughtfully, critically, with a clear vision of the world we want to create.
Well said, and a huge thank you to everyone listening in for joining us on this deep dive into AI governance. Don't forget to check out that original Indian Express article that got us started. You can find the link in the episode description. And please, leave your thoughts and questions in the comments. We love hearing from you.
We do. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged with shaping the future of AI.